So to start off this paint job, I primed the model gray and then lightly sprayed it with white from overhead, and then I dry brushed with white. And I'm taking Nuln Oil, Army Painter Matte White, Matte Black, and Neutral Gray from Vallejo. So the first step is to take your Nuln Oil, and we are going to cover the entire model pretty heavily so that the recesses are nice and dark. Now, once you've done that, we are going to dry brush with matte white. Now be very careful with this step because we do not want to go over the areas that are nice and dark. We just want to hit the raised edges to make them pure white. Now the model will still look kind of gray, but later on we will highlight with white and it'll bring it back up to that almost pure white color. Next we are going to take matte black from Army Painter. And you're going to want to use a very fine tip brush. I'm using my finest tip brush. And we're going to water down this black very heavily, almost like a wash, more like a glaze, so that we can get in those recesses and darken them just a bit more without overpowering the entire model. I'm getting into all the crevices and all the hard to reach areas with this. I'm putting shadow into all of the areas that pop out more, and so later on when we highlight, those will be super eye-catching. On a Stormtrooper, which is mostly white, contrast is super important, so I'm going to exaggerate the shadows and exaggerate the highlights. Next up, we're going to take Neutral Gray from Vallejo. we're going to want to water down this paint as well. And I'm mixing just a little bit of black into that gray to darken it so that it is more smooth blend. I'd say probably 60% neutral gray and 40% black here. And we're going to start to highlight some of the areas where maybe the black went out too far, or some of the areas that are black but still have some highlighting on them. Next up, we're going to take matte white again. And here we're going to start doing some layering and some highlighting in all of the raised detail so that this model really pops from the tabletop. Now I'm getting a good bit of paint off of the brush, and then I'm kind of turning it on its side and sliding it up and down these raised ridges. We're going to want to highlight the helmet heavily because that is the part of the model that would be closest to the sun. So that naturally would get the most light. So we want that to be the brightest part of the model. Now here I have the unit leader from the Galactic Empire, and I'm going to take Rhinox Hide and Lava Orange from Army Painter, and I'm going to mix these together. About 75% Lava Orange and 25% Rhinox Hide. And I'm mixing in a little more Lava Orange every time so I can highlight this shoulder pauldron. Next, I'm taking matte black from Army Painter, and I'm base coating the weapons. I'm watering this down just so it spreads more easily over the weapons, and be careful not to get this on any of the white, because that will be really hard to fix later on. Once the black is fully dried, we are going to take Lead Belcher from Citadel, and we are going to dry brush this weapon just to make it pop and look metallic, but still black. So be very selective here. Next up is the base, and we're going to take Leather Brown from Army Painter. And we're going to cover the entire base with this. And I am watering it down slightly just so it spreads over the base easier. Now here I'm overbrushing the legs, just so they look dusty, because I'm playing Star Wars Legion on Tatooine. So I'm going to take most of the paint off the brush and then kind of smudge it on the legs, just so it looks like they've been walking around the desert for a while. I'm taking Banshee Brown from Army Painter, and I'm going to dry brush the base to give it that desert sand look. I'm going to mix a little white into that Banshee Brown, give a brighter highlight color, and really make those rocks and sand pop. Once you're happy with that, we are going to do the base rim. Now, I'm not doing black for this Desert Army. I'm going to do Rhinox Hide from Citadel, and we're going to pretty liberally apply this to the base rim. Once you've completed that step, your Stormtrooper is done. It is ready to defend the Galactic Empire from those rebel scum.